remarks about me. So I'm Krish Advani, and I'm the VP Engineering and co-founder at Quickwork. And what I'm going to show you today is just a basic glimpse of what we should be looking forward to in terms of automation on the e-commerce. Now, the agenda that I'm going to cover up is not certainly restricted that we have to accomplish just those goals. There's a lot more that we can do, but this should actually give you the imagination to head in the right direction, if I might say so. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. This is going to be a very minimal presentation and more of a hands-on experience, as Garima rightly mentioned. And let's jump right into it. So let me just start sharing my screen. Desktop. Just 1 second. Let me present it as it is and not in the presentation mode to avoid any kind of confusion. All right. So let me just begin with the fact that e-commerce overall has gained tremendous traction over the last few months, specifically because of the pandemic. So what we have realized is it's not just the Amazons and Flipkarts of the world who are gaining a lot of traction by selling their e-commerce products online. People with small stores where they sell their own design and manufacture products, or they might be reselling some products using tools like Shopify, WooCommerce, ShipRocket, and many of these open source tools. What we have realized is lots of people are building their own stores and trying to promote those content online. And the usage of e-commerce stores has grown around 12 times. That is a huge amount in the last 8 months, right? What has happened is people who didn't even used to buy things online, even from Amazon, have started purchasing products from the smallest vendors on the web, which just goes to show that this is sort of the new trend that everybody would like to buy things online. So there are stores for perhaps microchips that somebody has built in their garage. There are stores who are selling custom-made T-shirts, and you name it. They're pretty much selling all products from skincare to cosmetics to fashion products, all using e-commerce websites and tools like Shopify, WooCommerce, and ShipRocket. So my agenda is mainly to cover how can you leverage the power of the Quickworks automation platform to build automations that will help you increase your sales or drive more traction to your existing products and services. How can you keep your customers alert about what is happening and what is changing within the world of your store? And of course, also we're going to try to build a small yet fairly decent e-commerce bot on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. So let's just jump into it. Let us just close this and jump right into the Quickwork platform. Now, first of all these automations that I'm going to show you are going to be purely restricted to Shopify, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do it with any other custom-built store or WooCommerce or ShipRocket or any of the other stores that I just mentioned. We are sort of integrated with all kinds of e-commerce store. But let me come to that. Before I begin, I would just like to show you that this is my dummy store. I'm selling all kinds of equipment in the store, which is more of hardware oriented and bicycles and so on. This is my Shopify store. And now the first thing that I'm going to do is going to introduce you to the Quickwork platform. Quickwork overall is a platform that allows you to integrate several services together. It might be Shopify, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, you name it. You can sort of take these services and combine them and connect them together to solve a business problem. To give you an idea, if somebody is abandoning your cart on your website and you would like to follow up with them saying that, hey, we have a 10% off if you finish the order in the next 24 hours, you will get that discount. If you want to do that to engage with your customers, you have to sort of connect your Shopify with a messaging media where your customers really are. And Quickwork allows you to do just that. So when you go to quickwork.co and you register for our product, which is free to use, by the way, you can simply get access to this window screen, which you can open up and you'll see your folders on the left and your workflows on the right. I request you to mute Dipti. While I proceed, these are your folders, and here's where your journeys go. Right? So now you can just create a new journey by clicking on the journey. Okay? Garima, may I request? Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. I'm sorry for that. So what a journey really is, it's a workflow. All right. So basically, if you want to tell that you want to connect your Shopify to your WhatsApp, this is where you should come across. All right. So let me just begin with the concept of choosing the trigger. A trigger basically means that something has happened within my e-commerce application, and I would like to perform a series of steps according to it. So let me just choose Shopify. Now you can see I can do a whole bunch of things with Shopify. I can do abandoned cart. I can do when something goes into a cancel order. I can do a whole bunch of things with Shopify itself. But the main area of concern that I want to focus right now on is product updated or added. Now, if you see my e-commerce store, there is a tool, a product, which is sold out at this moment, which is a 15mm combo wrench. And I happen to have a database of people who had requested this product from me, but I could not deliver it to them because I was completely out of stock on this respective product. So now what I'm going to do, and the product is available over here on my Shopify admin portal, and you can see that the quantity right now is 0. Now let's say I do happen to have 15 odd products available for me to sell this. So now what I can do, I can simply connect my Shopify over here and sort of send a notification over WhatsApp to my users saying that the product is now available and you can buy this with a single click on the link. All right. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link my Shopify account. I already have one link, so I'm just going to establish a connection. It says choose the event type. I'm going to say whenever a product is updated, trigger the event. Now what I'm going to do is simply focus on sending this notification to our user on WhatsApp. So I'm just going to choose here WhatsApp by Gupshup, which is the provider which I'm using of WhatsApp. And I'm going to say I'm going to send a message. And I'm going to choose my existing WhatsApp connection. All right, so now I have got my WhatsApp and my trigger linked up. Now let me just do one thing. Let me simply send a message to the user saying the product is now available. All right, so I'm going to just say the product that you inquired about is now available. And for now, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to hardcode my mobile number over here. So now I'm going to give it a name before we confuse it any further. Notification when a new product is available, send a message over WhatsApp. All right, so I've created a very simple automation which says whenever there's a new product which has been added to the Shopify store or updated, it will send me a notification. This is just a step number 1. So I'm just going to start this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 10 quantities of this product into my Shopify. Now, what's going to happen that in a second or two, you're going to see that I receive a WhatsApp notification saying that the product is now available. So let me just wait for that. And we can even check what is occurring and happening in the history section over here. But it says it has delivered a message to me. And whoops, sorry, my phone is not connected. It should connect right now. In just a second. Okay, there you go. So it says the product that you inquired is now available. It just went out and sent me a message as soon as a product was available in my Shopify as we desired to. But now there is not just me, correct? So it's not just me who is asking for this product, which was before not available. It's two or more people whose database I have within my Google Sheets. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect my Google Sheets, take this data set, loop over, and send them this notification to all the users on WhatsApp who are requesting for me this particular product. So I'm going to hit the stop button, okay? And I'm going to show you a trick over here. In Google Sheets, you'll be able to see that you can execute something called as a query. It's a built-in function which is available in Google Sheets and also in Microsoft Excel. And what it allows you is to query your data set based on a specific parameter. So let's say I wanted to query my data set starting from A to C, which is these three columns. And what I want to find out is who is the person who is looking for the 15mm wrench. So I can simply write a query which says select, that means get, product A, comma B. These are the two columns that I'm interested in because I only want to know, in fact, I would like to rectify my query. I'm interested only in the column number B and C. And I'm going to say that where A, which is your ID, is equal to something. And I'm going to label C as phone number. Now, this may sound confusing, and let me just explain what I just did. What I'm trying to say here is that I want to know exactly who were the people who were looking for this product, which happens to be out of stock a few days ago. And this query over here, which I just wrote in Google Sheet, is helping me find that product. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go back to the Quickwork platform. I'm going to choose a simple action and I'm going to drag and drop it above. And I'm going to say I'm going to go and use Google Sheets. So just like we connected Shopify with WhatsApp, now we're going to sort of bring in the Google Sheets in between so that we can actually query some information out from this specific data set. I already have an account linked with my Google Sheets. I can click on link account. And let me just bring your attention to the sheet. This is called as out of stock orders, and the sheet name is sheet 1. I'm going to go back to the Quickwork platform, and I'm going to choose the out of stock Google Sheet. I'm going to paste my query in, and I'm going to choose the sheet number 1 that we just saw a minute ago. Now, what has happened here is now I'm fetching the exact details from the Google Sheets operation. So trigger, go to Google Sheets, send a WhatsApp notification. But what I want to do further, apart from, I want to remove this hard coding that I've done because it could be any product that could be updated at any given moment of time. So I'll just delete that. And I'm going to choose something even better. I'm going to choose from the right-hand side section. If I scroll up, I should be able to see something called as product ID. If you're not able to find it, you can simply search for it. Product ID, there you go. There's one over here, but there is a generic one also, which is product ID. So to recap, when there is a trigger from Shopify, let's find out who are the people who are looking for this specific product in my Google Sheets and then send them the notification. And I'm going to open this and I'm going to improve my message. So rather than saying the product that you inquired is now available, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to put in a better message, which is going to be the product, and I can put in the name of the product now because I know which product did the user inquire about. The product with the name of the product is now available in the store for you to buy. I can also put there are only new inventory count, because I can tell them that there are only 10 available, right? Get them since they are already running out. Okay, this is the message that I want to send. So I'm going to start this once again, and I am going to change my inventory count once again so that I trigger in the automation. I'm going to change it to 12, and I'm going to hit save. Now, in a second, I should be able to see, in a few seconds, I should be able to see that a new trigger has occurred, and I'll receive a WhatsApp notification in a few seconds. So let's just wait for that. Okay, there you go. Something is processing. Let us wait. I received a WhatsApp notification. It says the product, and the title did not show up, is now available in the store for you to buy. There are only 12 available. Get them since they are running out. This just goes to show that you are now capable of integrating your e-commerce store for notifying all the users who had inquired about a specific product to you over WhatsApp, which is basically where they generally are. And it is that simple to build an integration and automation with Quickwork by connecting multiple services together. Similarly, I can tell you one more combination. What happens frequently in the e-commerce space is that people tend to abandon their carts after having chosen their product. The reasons are several, correct? There could be that your prices are not good enough. It could be because they simply found that the taxes were added afterwards and they found that you have tricked them. It could be anything, correct? And what we want to do is sort of engage with the user so that we convert that lost deal into a sale. So just like I showed you that you can say whenever a new stock or an inventory is available, you can similarly do something called as abandoned carts. You can put in the amount of hours that you want to wait when somebody has abandoned your cart. Let's say I just went to our website, to your website where you're selling your e-commerce product, and I chose a t-shirt, a jeans, and I don't know, a bunch of socks. And I just added to the cart and I left it as wherever it was. I just abandoned that cart. So I can put in here that if somebody has abandoned their cart and it has been 1 hour since they abandoned it, you know what? Send them a notification on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, it could be anything, which says you have abandoned your cart, or let me just type in a message as we go. So let me type in something that makes meaningful sense. Okay, so hey, and I can find the name of the customer from on the right hand side of the tree, and I can search for it, name, gateway names, no, I can scroll down. There are lots of fields that you can interact with, but these are the line items of the product, and these are the shipping items, billing address, this is what I'm interested in. Hey, first name, it seems like you left the cart abandoned, okay? Or you just left the cart. You can get a 10% discount if you complete your purchase now. Use the discount coupon IPL weekend, okay, to get your 10% off. Now this automation is literally going to say that after 1 hour of somebody having abandoned my cart, send them a notification on WhatsApp saying that, hey, here is how you can come back, make a payment on the cart that you left out. Now there are lots of fields over here. You can even get the total price that they had in the cart. You can get the cart token, but more importantly, you can get the link to the cart so that they can simply click on their WhatsApp link and make that purchase. So this is what we call as the abandoned checkout URL. If you click on this, you will actually be able to give them a link which they can simply make a payment from. So now this, since I set 1 hour and you have to set it in hours, it would be difficult to show you the outcome of this, but irrespectively, I'm going to start the automation. And I'm going to show you how I abandon a cart, and we can wait for it while we continue for the next automation. Or let me change the time to something like 0.03, which is like 3 or 4 minutes, right? So we'll just start that. And I'll go to the shop. This is my shop, as I showed you before. And I'm going to add this wrench, W wrench, to the cart. And I've added it to the cart. I can just view the cart and I can finish my cart completely, okay? I'm going to check out and I'm going to abandon this cart. I'm not going to go all the way through with it. So all my addresses, everything is filled up over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply close this tab. Now that I've closed this tab, I've actually abandoned the cart. And within a few minutes, I should get a trigger over here. Since it might take 3 to 4 minutes for it to abandon that cart by Shopify, let us move on to the next automation and we'll wait for whenever that occurs. So I hope that you understand what can you leverage with the Quickwork platform, first of all. You not only connected an e-commerce platform, but you were able to simply merge a Google Sheet with it at the same time. And you can just scroll down to the list of the applications that we have, which are DevOps oriented, e-commerce oriented, some normal databases, some consumer applications like Gmail, Google Calendar, or even if you want to do natural language processing, you can use Dialogflow and so much more. The apps that we have are incredibly large in quantity. So now to come to the third agenda point is to build a small e-commerce store. Now this is something that everybody wants to build on a messaging platform these days because that's where customers really are. And to do so, I'm going to show you how we can build it really quickly. So let me just go ahead and choose that WhatsApp should be my trigger. Somebody sends me a message on WhatsApp, I want to do something with it. All right. So let me just say, whenever somebody sends me a new text message on my WhatsApp shopping bot, I want to do something about it. Okay, I'm going to type in any random message, and I'm going to choose don't send a welcome message. Now, first, let me keep things very simple. Whenever I send a hi, I want to get a reply hi. This is the first thing that I generally tend to do to test everything's functional. Send a message, and I can say hi back. This is what I'm going to send back to the user. And the phone number will be the person who sent me the message, which is going to be the sender ID. If you don't understand that, it's perfectly fine. You can just leave it to sender ID, and you'll understand as we go along. And we can start this automation. Now, whenever I say hi, it's going to say hi back. There you go. If I say hello, it's still going to say hi back. So we have sort of created a small bot which is responding to us with the message that we are sending. So that's step number one. And if we refresh the history, you'll be able to see all the interactions that you have had so far. But since it's an e-commerce oriented automation, let us now connect it to an e-commerce store. And let us render the products that we have back to the user. So instead of sending a message back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Shopify again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get or search a product within my store. Okay. So basically, if somebody says I'm looking for Levi's jeans, it should be able to go to the Shopify store, search for those Levi's, and render it for me in WhatsApp. So let me just put in the search terminology over here. So it's telling me, what are you looking for? What is the product that you're actually searching for within your e-commerce store? So I'm going to say that whatever is the text message that the user is sending me on WhatsApp, that is what I want to search in my e-commerce store. Limit, I want to limit up to 3 products because WhatsApp is a messaging medium. If you overcrowd it, people get irritated. And there's nothing else that I want to do over here. Now let me hit save. Now what's going to happen is, this is going to return me products which is available within my store. However, this could be multiple products. There could be more than one. So what I'm going to use is a concept of looping for each. What looping signifies is, if you have quantity which is more than one of something, you should use a loop. So this for each, what it's going to do is going to loop over the products that we just found from our e-commerce store. All right. And when it loops over it, I simply want to send the title of that particular product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose WhatsApp by Kapshap once again, and I'm going to send a message. And in the message, I'm going to put in item.title. Don't worry about it if you don't understand, I'll explain it in a minute. And I'm going to send it to a designated phone number. Now let me start this automation. And now if I type in a product name, let's say Levi's, I should be able to get 3 Levi's products from my e-commerce store. It only gives me the name of the products, but it is coming from my store. So if I were to go to my e-commerce store once again, and I'll just go back to the website, and I'll search for Levi's. You'll see these are Levi's that I'm selling in my store. And those are the ones which are now showing up on WhatsApp. And in fact, they're not in the same order because they're not sorted, but they are randomly coming across from these. Now, this outcome may not be sufficient for somebody to make a sale. Obviously, somebody would expect some kind of an image, description, a link to the product if they want to see more around this, correct? So what we will do is we'll go back to the automation tool. We'll stop this, and instead of sending a message, I'm going to send a media. So not only I'm going to send a title, I'm going to send something more, which is going to be an image. Now again, I am going to type in here something that it might be difficult for you to understand at the first go, but I'll explain once we have accomplished the goal. .original src. So bear with me. Currently what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to show the product image and the name of the product. And I'm going to start this, and I'm going to put in the same query like I did before. I'm going to put in Levi's. And now I start receiving not only the product's name, I can now get along with it a product image with it, which I can see, I can zoom in, I understand what is the product all about. All that by just connecting Shopify with WhatsApp so far. Now let me explain what I did here. I looped over all the products that we have, and if you recall, I have restricted it to just 3 products, okay? I can put in more, it depends on your preference on how do you want to offer it to your customers. But it's going to loop over these products, so 1, 2, and 3, it's going to loop over them, and it's going to send them over WhatsApp. Now, what I've done over here is I have instructed Shopify to give me the image that they have in the store to send it to WhatsApp. Now, how did I figure this out? I can just go to the history section. I can see the latest interaction that I did with the bot, and I can open the output of Shopify. Now, this might look a bit confusing to somebody who is not familiar with working with JSON formats and coding, but it is much simpler than you think. All I wanted to extract is the featured image and the original full-sized image. And if I copy this URL over here and put it, it's the same image of the shorts that I just rendered on my WhatsApp. And this is what I wanted to show to the user. Hence, I said featured image dot original src. It sort of goes into WhatsApp, into Shopify, and gives the URL to WhatsApp. Now, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of information available over here. Apart from the title, there's also a description, which I think is very handy for somebody to see or read before they take a decision. Along with that, I think a price is relevant. So let me just go ahead and do some of these things. Instead of just putting in the title, I'm going to put a new line that is /n, okay? That means it's going to go into a new line. We will be able to see the outcome. And I'm going to say that I want to not only show the title, but I also want to show the description. And now let me just see the outcome of this. Now if I say Levi's, I should now be able to see the name of the product, the description, and that's it. That's all we have configured it for. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's add an emoji in front of the message. And also let's make this name into bold because it's just getting jumbled up with the description. So let's just go back over here to the journey, stop, and I can now put in my emoji in front of it, like so, okay? And I would like to even bold my title, right? So if you remember to do in WhatsApp, when you bold something, you have to use the asterisk symbol. And I'm gonna turn off my emoji board and I'm gonna type in Levi's. Now I should be able to get the emoji with this in bold and all the 3 products rendered. Now the sky is the limit, right? So you can now show the price, you can show the link to the product, you can do anything that you want with simply these 3 steps of your workflow. You have built a small e-commerce part, which is sort of rendering the products that you have. And it just works for any product that you choose to make it work with. If I just go now and search for a catalog, let's say wrench, which I have several types of. Let me just type in wrench here so I don't make a spelling mistake. And I'll just paste it in here. Now, ideally, I should be able to see wrenches which are available on my Shopify store right over here. And there you go. These are all 3 kinds of wrenches that I'm now rendering on my WhatsApp. So this is our purpose. This is what Quickwork does. And with just these 3 or 4-step automations, you can really do a lot. And I understand that some of these things require a little bit of getting used to. For instance, putting in the featured image and original SRC, or looping over data sets, so understanding what Quickwork really is. But once you get a hang of it, once you understand how simple it is to connect 2 or 3 applications together, you can do a lot more like we have done in this 30-minute session. So this is what I wanted to cover with the e-commerce automations. But let me just put in some more ideas of what you can do. When somebody cancels an order, you can send a notification. If you want to create a full-fledged Shopify bot which allows you to add and remove products from your cart and make a sale and integrate your Razorpay or Stripe or Paytm to collect payments on WhatsApp directly, you can do so. If you want to sync up your sales with a Google Sheet for any specific reason, it could be for audit purposes, it could be for some other automation that you want to leverage off, you can do all of that. E-commerce automations are kind of endless, and I can just keep on giving you more and more examples on what can you do. So before I end the session, I would just like to mention that Quickwork is a completely free to use product. 500 transactions per month is included within the free plan, and that is plenty for you to try, test, and play around. And you can even choose an appropriate pricing plan as per your needs if required. Also, since you have attended the session, we have a discount coupon, which we will mention in the chat, which will offer you 15% off on all these pricing plans, valid for the 48-hour period from this event. And I'll be just pasting that in here. And I would just like to hand over the conversation back to Garima, who can perhaps end the session.
Thank you so much, Krish, and thank you for this wonderful session. There's so much to explore, so much to learn when it comes to e-commerce automation.